is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
This is William Dockery, hopefully your favorite videographer. Let's take a look at the peanut gallery, and it is packed. Get ready for some fireworks. This is not going to be a very quick meeting. Let's go. And by the way, we're going to show you some action that happens before the meeting, outside DART offices, right after the meeting.
On Tuesday, October 28th, 2014, and this committee of the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board of Directors is called to order. The first order of business is the approval of minutes of the prior meeting. Any objections, corrections, additions? Minutes are approved as read, as presented. We have the report from our CAC committee. Hello, Ms. Silver. Nice to see you.
Hello, nice to see you. I know the agenda says that it's for the October meeting, but it's actually the September 18th and October 16th meetings because of the unusual DART board schedule that you had both months. Okay, and at our September, I'm Phyllis Silver, Chair of the DART Citizens Advisory Committee. And at our September meeting, Mike Hubble, Vice President of DART Maintenance, briefed our group on the rail replacement project that is taking place in downtown Dallas on 6 consecutive weekends. Work on the project began on Saturday, October 25th, after the close of the State Fair. The rails in downtown Dallas have become worn, and replacement will lead to a smoother, quieter ride. 5 separate shuttle bus routes serve the closed stations. Flyers detailing shuttle bus connections should be available on buses and trains, and additional advertising to prepare riders for service changes during the project is scheduled. In October, Rob Smith, Assistant Vice President of Service Planning and Development, presented our group with a briefing on the Comprehensive Operations Analysis, also known as COA, and the development of DART's 2040 system plan. The new system plan will focus on bus service more than previous plans. A good deal of data collection from multiple sources is taking place and will continue during fiscal year 15 and fiscal year 16. Using customer feedback, traffic pattern information, tools that measure ridership potential, and other resources, a comprehensive review and analysis of all transit services in the system will be performed. The purpose of this initiative is to better serve, in the words of the presentation, the existing and emerging transit markets. A key aspect of this comprehensive operations analysis is to project future demographics and travel trends and to fulfill these anticipated needs. During our September and October business meetings, some committee members reported observing an increase in police presence and improved response times on trains and at train stations, while other committee members said that they have seen very little difference. In some cases, illegal activity takes place on trains and there is no one to report it to. Riders carrying cell phones do not want to take the chance of using them to call the police in the presence of the perpetrator. We are aware that increased security is expensive. However, safety and security needs to be a priority. I am reminded that with the upcoming holiday shopping and events season, there will be additional passenger loads along with patterns of ridership not normally seen during other times of the year, potentially resulting in new security challenges. A hot topic in our October meeting was the lack of communication about travel options during emergency times, such as the brief but destructive October 2nd storm that generated high winds, and also the all-day strong winds of October 13th. Light rail service was impacted during these periods. Emergencies will happen, and in some cases, DART had emergency plans in place. Unfortunately, there was inadequate communication of these plans, both internally to bus and rail operators and externally to DART riders. This resulted in stranded and sometimes confused riders receiving conflicting travel instructions. DART needs to be innovative in communicating travel alternatives to riders during emergencies. In some cases, the emergency knocks out power, thus prohibiting DART from using normally available communication methods. Manual signs and supervisors communicating alternatives to passengers would be examples of effective low-tech communication. On the subject of Ebola, we ask that DART continue to be proactive in doing whatever is necessary to protect its customers and employees against the virus. Emphasis on disinfecting vehicles when they arrive in the garage or rail yard, in addition to operators being vigilant about potential contamination of vehicles, are key to this effort. We recently learned how this was handled well. Once again, the safety of our riders and employees is paramount. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, November 20th, in Conference Room 1C. The topic is to be determined, and as always, all DART board members are invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to take a detour and deal with the agenda before we continue with our speakers. The first issue on the first voting item this evening is Ms. Wilkins from your committee.
Okay, this is item number 5, which is the authorization to convey a permanent utility, sidewalk, and landscape easement to the city of Rowlett, located on property known as parcel R1001 in Rowlett, Texas. And my motion is to approve this item.
Second.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes. Yes. Those opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Ms. Gates, the item 6 came through your committee?
Yes, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. This is a call for public hearing for May 2015 service modifications. The matter was recommended by the Planning Committee members for approval to the Committee of the Whole. Committee of the Whole consideration for initial and final consideration. The votes on those were unanimous, and I move this approval of this item this evening.
Second.
All those in favor, was there a second? I was disturbed. Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please signify so by saying yes. Yes. Those opposed, please say yes. No. We got that right now. Thank you. Any votes in opposition? The motion carries. Dr. Christian, item 7 came from your committee.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Item number 7, contract for Medicare Advantage PPO plan for retiree medical benefits, came through the Committee of the Whole and was recommended for the Board of Directors for approval, and I so move that it be approved.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed signify so by saying no. Motion carries. Mr. Adams, item 11, item 8 came through your committee.
Yes, item 8, approval of determination under Section 4G of the employment agreement between the agency and the President and Executive Director. This was approved by the majority of the Executive Compensation Committee and a majority of the Committee of the Whole, and I move approval.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
Pardon me? No?
No.
Mark?
Yes.
Did you vote no or
I'm
yes?
sorry, I meant to vote yes.
That was opposed by Mr. Cheney. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstained by Ms. Wilkins. Motion carries. Mr. Adams, item 9 came through your committee.
Yes, sir. The fiscal 2014 performance review of Director of Board Support, Director of Internal Audit, and General Counsel were reviewed by the Executive Compensation or Audit Committee as appropriate, and were approved by a majority of the Committee of the Whole, and I move approval.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, say no, please.
No.
Okay. We're going to raise our hands on this. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Nancy, you counting?
Yes. Mark, 34.
I am.
8-4?
Oh, we're not home.
No, all those opposed, raise your hands, please. Motion carries. Mr. Adams, the next one.
Number 10, fiscal year 2015 performance measures for Director of Board Support and General Counsel. This was unanimously approved by the Executive Compensation Committee and approved by the Committee of the Whole, and I move approval.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, item 11 is not ready for discussion tonight,
Right.
and so I would bring up item number 12 with respect to the extension of the employment agreement between the agency and the General Counsel. It's approved by the Executive Compensation Committee and the Committee of the Whole, and I move approval.
All those in favor signify so by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. And Mr. Adams, there's no need to approve the contract for the Director of Board Support, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. We have no contract change proposed for the Director of Board Support or the Director of Internal Audit.
But we need to vote on...
I think that's the one we just did, Mr. Chairman, for the General Counsel.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm finished here.
Yes, sir.
Good. We will go back to the general items in the agenda. The next item of business is our PEG report.
With Reach of Plano, and we service people with disabilities. And on October 17th, we had our PAG meeting. During that time, we were informed of the following information. PAG received an update on the level boarding. There are 2 prototypes that will be tested at the Ackerd and Baylor stations to make the level boarding area more identifiable for individuals with visual impairments. One of the surfaces will be pavers and the other surface metal. There was a concern from one of the PAG members that service animals could possibly be shocked on the metal surface. It was noted that there will be travel ambassadors that will be available for assistance if needed. The paratransit IVR call-out feature began on September 1st, and this feature should alert passengers that their ride is 10 minutes away. Feedback from the PAG members indicated that some of the riders are not receiving their calls. There is an upcoming software update that should correct this issue. Service delivery updates were provided. The 2-year pilot has ended, and the 5-year option began on October 1st of 2014. The continued goal is to have an improved and stable program that is more consistent with the partnership with DART and MV Transportation. The fleet has been standardized to 2 vehicles. There is a run cut that will be posted in November, and this run cut should reduce the average length of trips, improve on-time performance, and decrease late trips. Riders should see an immediate results and effects of the run. There is now a mandate that all operators get out of the vehicle, introduce themselves, and assist passengers with boarding and deboarding. And this is an issue that our consumers at REACH have appreciated. There was a roundtable discussion where representatives from various agencies and consumers of DART paratransit services expressed their experience with service delivery since the last PAG meeting. And our next meeting will be January 2015. We are also at the PEG meeting honoring Miss Sherry Moss, who was presented with the Most Valuable Driver for the Quarter Award, and I believe she will be presented that award from DART from DART at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. Our most valuable driver for fall of 2014 is Sherry Moss. She's making her way to the podium. Ms. Moss has been a paratransit operator since October of 2007. On October 1st, 2014, she became a Pursuit of Excellence employee and began driving for MV Transportation. She was born and raised in Dallas and graduated with honors from high school. She also obtained a nursing degree after high school. Ms. Moss is married, has 3 children, and a beautiful granddaughter. Notwithstanding a great attitude, Ms. Moss was chosen the 4th quarter most valuable driver for the following reasons. She is always on time to work. She never refuses extra assignments. She has no accidents, always safety conscious. She always serves as a behind-the-wheel trainer for the safety department. On August 17th, she pulled into the pearl station and noticed a purse that was unattended. After inspecting the contents, she found there was $767 in the purse. She immediately contacted MV management about the situation, located a DART police officer, and turned the purse over to the officer to ensure the purse would be returned to its rightful owner. Ms. Ross is not only a great driver, but also a great person. As a result of the above referenced, she has been chosen Fall 2014 Most Valuable Driver. Tonight, she will be receiving a plaque, a lapel pin, $150 from DART, matched by $150 from MV Transportation. Thank you.
How y'all doing? I'm Sherry Moss. Much obliged about this, and I'm so nervous, but I'm just good at rocking and rolling. Thank you.
Before our public comments, Ms. Wilkins, our Vice Chair, will read the announcement.
Okay, general public comments are allowed at each dartboard meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during dartboard meetings is governed by the Dartboard Code of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent or slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate when you can begin speaking. The yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates that your time has expired.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Mr. Thomas Bonner, followed by Mr. Brandon Barber. Good evening, Mr. Bonner.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Well, I hope you're well.
I'm doing good.
Good.
To Mr. Chairman, to all the board members, I am here on a disturbing matter. On October 10th in the afternoon, one of your bus drivers was driving with not with both hands on the wheel, but he was driving with one hand on the steering wheel while eating with another between 4:03 p.m. and 4:23 between the intersections of West Illinois Avenue and Hampton Road into Hampton West Illinois Avenue to South Llewellyn. It's very disturbing to see a bus driver or anybody that's behind the wheel with one hand on the wheel and going through a school zone. It was very disturbing. It is also unprofessional and disgusting to greet your passengers when they're boarding with food in your mouth. And that was very disturbing to me. So I just wanted to say that, I just wanted to bring that to your attention so management can intervene with their drivers, all drivers that's behind the wheel of a DART vehicle with both hands on your wheel, eye contact in professional manner, just like the young lady just showed. And I'd just like to say to Mr. Paul Wackerman, the city representative of Plano, all the patients and staff of the Baylor, Plano, and Hart Hospital would like to say thank you for the sitting bench at the Baylor. It has helped marvelous for all of those that, that's having procedures, so where they don't have to make another arrangement, that they can sit there and wait for the bus. And Mr. Velasco, I'd just like to say that, I know the land development at the new Walmart in Oak Cliff. We're waiting for that to develop so we can see our sitting benches around there. And we're also asking that, when the completion is done, that we continue with Route 466 that is running on a part-time basis through Short Boulevard to the Walmart area, that it would be full-time. I'd like to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this here time, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner. Would you see Mr. Tim Newby, fellow raising his hand?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mr. Brandon Barber.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Barber.
Good evening, sir. My name is Brandon Barber. My address is 427 Running Brook Lane, Mesquite, Texas, 75149. I'm here today to address the cams that are on our buses. We're also going to address our insurance, but the cams right now is an issue with me. I'm an executive officer of Amalgamated 1338, and I deal with all the drivers' issues at my garage. I'm finding every day we have about 3, 4, maybe 5 operators who are now being cited, of course, for the stop signs in the train track crossings. What I'm advocating and asking that the board recognizes, we're losing all of our people. And everybody should be aware of that because we have a reduction in trying to get these runs out every day. So I'd like for you guys to think and reconsider when you are charging the operators for a red light violation or the railroad crossings instead of retraining. When you drive a route for a long period of time, you get accustomed to that track if it's got a light in front of it. When you change routes, there's a new element, and that needs to be considered, and they need to be retrained before charging them. 3 charges. That's all it takes now for the cams. We're already dealing with the red light cameras. So you're putting too much in the operator's head. You're gonna have a serious wreck because operators are trying to make the decision, do I stop, do I go? Should I cross this, should I not? It's too much upon an operator, and I am a bus operator. So I really urge y'all to reconsider that. Right now, I got about 7 operators who are already received 2 of these violations. They're driving the same runs. Retrain them. That's what we need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Barber. Thank you very much. You can take care of that. You got notes on there? Our next speaker is Ms. Deborah Donnell, and following Ms. Donnell, Ms. Pruitt.
My name is Deborah Lynn Donnell. My birthday is 5th to 25th, 53. I was raised here, born here in Dallas, Texas. And I would like to say that at the West End station and other stations where they throw trash and stuff, I think that that it should be something done about it, and the cussing and talking and beer cans and bottles and stuff and food thrown everywhere and paper. I think it should be something done about it at the West End and at Alvey Station. And I think pray that God that y'all will have more buses. And I pray that people will come together and do what is right around this world, and that I think the bus driver and Doug Henderwright and others for doing their job. They've been doing a good job. But they be late sometime by getting to the bus stop. People be waiting, and sometime I guess they have to go by the schedule. And bus drivers, I think they have done a very good job helping people around the world, and I thank them. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have no way to get around. I'd probably walk in blocks, but I thank God for that. And I think people will come together and keep Dort clean. And I think I pray that they will go down on the bus passes, and that do better things at the Dog Station. But, well, it's a blessing that we can stand there and wait at the Dog Station for the trains and for the buses and stuff, and the ride. And another thing, like 2 years ago, I bumped my head on the bus real hard on the andill. The bus driver stopped on his brake, and my head hit the andill, and I've been having pain from that in my head. And the manager, the head manager over there, she just gave me $50 check, and I got hurt again like 3 or 4 months ago, and I got slung out the seat. When the lady turned the corner, I fell out and my head hit the andill. They didn't do anything about it. And I heard it. I was where I couldn't hardly get up. 4 guys had to help me up. They thought I was dead, but thank God I'm alive. And I thank God for that I'm alive. But Mr. Davey, Mr. David Lennon supposed to have wrote a check, but he didn't. And I don't think it's right. The manager said that it's been 2 years ago that I should get a check, but I think I need the check because I still have damage in my head.
Ms. Donnell? Mm-hmm. Would you see Mr. Leininger? He's,
But the manager gonna tell him don't write a check. It was 2 years ago. And I got hurt again like 3 or 4 months ago
well, if you'll talk with her about, Ms. Donnell, if you'll talk with Mr. Leininger about the 2 or 3 months ago.
I didn't talk to him about that, but the other one.
He's right over there, and he can talk with you about that now.
Oh, okay. Well, is he gonna write me a check?
I don't think so, but he'll talk to you about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, God bless.
Thank you very much. Mr. Leininger? Our next speaker, Ms. Pruitt?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. I have been riding DART for 31 years.
Thank you.
I'm 54. I was born at Parkland. When I got through at 3 a.m. in ER, and I had to wait till 5 to catch the first DART bus, where Salvation Army, the men from prison, I had to wait for 5 o'clock. Now look at DART. We have the orange, the green, all the buses, the doctors, the nurses, anybody that wants to go to Southwest. I am so happy with DART about Parkland. And the second thing is, I live in a neighborhood where everybody lives. There's a elementary school, 2 middle schools, a high school. I am at Park Lane, Ridgecrest, and Fair Oaks. I live in a senior place, and the 506, the 502 runs 7 days a week. I don't even drive. And therefore, that double-decker, Sam's and Walmart is the first one in this area. They have built over there. There's all kind of apartments, and I understand because of that stadium at AT&T, everything in that area, excuse me, on Greenville, they will tear down the apartments, and they're doing what? They're building up. Everything in that area is going to change. And because of DART, my neighborhood where I live by Park Lane, the children are everywhere between 2:30 and 4. And where I live, senior citizens, they can walk to the 7-Eleven. I can walk to the cleaners. I'm so impressed with DART. But therefore, guess what? The area that I live in, we need better buses, not the old buses, but the new. You try Walmart, there's wheelchairs, there's walkers. There's one particular stop people get on and off every day. I know because I go to Walmart and I go to Sam's, JCPenney's, on and on. So this area is going to work with Sam and Walmart. Who has not heard of Walmart? So therefore, I just want to applaud DART. But now just think about that DFW. I'm going to back up. For 31 years, we got DFW, Orange Line. Where else are we going to go?
Well, right now, Ms. Pruitt, I'd like for you to go see Mr. Todd Plesko, our VP of Planning, and he might be able to help you out. Our next speaker is Mr. Henry Brown, who will be followed by Ms. Rosemary Riger.
Greetings to the DART board, to the visitors, and to the ATU members that are here on this evening. My name is Henry Brown. My address is 211 Elder Drive, Mesquite, Texas, 75149. I'm an East Dallas bus operator. Before I start my spiel for the night, I would like to cite a story that I read on the internet. This story, it was about a man in New York named Eric Gardner. He was 43 years old. July the 7th, 2014, he was confronted by police on Staten Island for allegedly selling cigarettes illegally. During the encounter, Mr. Gardner raised both hands in the air and told the officers not to touch him. Seconds later, a video showed an officer behind him grabbed a 350-pound man in a chokehold and pulled him to the sidewalk and rolled over on him. Sadly to say, Mr. Gardner, he didn't survive that. But before his death, his final words were, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Gardner said repeatedly, his cry muffled into the pavement. Board, what we're here to do tonight, as an ATU member, we feel the same way Mr. Gardner did. We're here to serve notice on the board tonight by saying, we can't breathe. When it's come to this health care crisis at DART, where we see our increase every year, where we see the premiums just skyrocketing, we basically can't breathe. When it comes to low or no salary increases, as Mr. Gardner said, we can't breathe. When it comes to these horrible working conditions without proper breaks, long routes, ain't nobody took time out to check the routes to make sure things was in line. Just put the operator out there, just tell him to go. Dealing with insurmountable problems and pressure on these lines. Time you make it to one end, it's time to go to the other end. It's not fair. And we simply can't breathe. When it comes to the lack of hiring and promoting qualified employees from the bus or the rail to the administrative side of DART, again, we can't breathe. When it comes to these unjust disciplinary actions that is being carried out in all of these garages, in terms of the smart cam, like what Mr. Brandon Barber was talking about a little earlier, to different issues in management where various people are singled out, selective harassment that go on in some of these garages that we have. Like Mr. Gardner says, we can't breathe. Unlike Mr. Gardner, we don't want our voices to be buried in the pavement. We want DART to be fair, just, and bail us out just like we do when the train go down.
Mr. Brown, your time has expired.
Okay, that's the end of my statement anyway, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much for coming. Ms. Riger, I presume?
Good evening, yes. My
Good
name is
evening.
Rosemary Rieger. I live at
Sorry.
9533 Rocky Branch Drive here in Dallas. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm the organizer with North Texas Jobs with Justice. We're a coalition of labor, community, and faith groups, and we're working to improve on worker justice issues and support community struggles. And I'd like to speak about the health insurance changes for DART workers. Removing spouses from the insurance plan when health insurance is available through the spouse's employer is a hardship because workers have not had the time to make the necessary financial adjustments now. And while health insurance costs are increasing, it's unfair to have employees carry the burden. When corporations have the means for large compensation packages for top management, it's illogical to think that there can be no increases in compensation and benefits for the workers. When companies take care of their workers with fair wages, raises that keep lockstep with price increases, good benefits, sick days, family leave, vacation, when employees are part of the decision-making process and have the right to organize, then employees go over and above in their work and there's less turnover. You then have a content workforce, and the DART ridership is also happy with the service. Public transit is a vital part of the Dallas infrastructure. So DART workers need to be treated fairly, especially when it comes to health insurance for themselves and their families. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Kerry Yarborough, followed by Mr. William Sanders, Jr. Good evening.
Good evening. I want to address the board as some of the problems that are facing DART that we've had from ridership. One of them being this past weekend where we had mass chaos downtown for 2 days with the rail being taken out. I can understand the need for the maintenance ever so often and for replacing the rail at times, but the way it was handled was not good. I know DART plans these things months in advance. City of Dallas plans their races months in advance. Both of them being on the same weekend means that DART dropped the ball and the City of Dallas dropped the ball. The bus I got on to go from Pearl to the Union Station, which normally is 5 train stops, about 10 minutes, took me 45 minutes, and then waiting for a blue line once I got to the Union Station. That bus went 6 times past St. Paul, 3 times past Pearl that I know of. Everybody on the bus was getting frustrated. People got up, half the people on the bus got up and walked down the aisle and asked the bus driver where he was going, if he knew with the way to the West End, if he was going to ever get there. It was ridiculous. Finally, half of them got off at the West End and walked to Union. It would have been faster to have walked from Pearl to Union than take this bus. Mass chaos. There was nowhere for the buses to stop where they were supposed to over there behind the Sheraton Hotel on Pearl Street. They weren't labeled. It was very unclear. There were no labels there for people to see signs that showed them which bus to board or anything. Some of the buses weren't even there. And then they waited on the train like forever and a day, and the trains were completely full. The train was 1 train car, and it was packed with 3 times more people than could sit down once the train car left. Why couldn't that train be 2 cars or 3 cars pulling out of Pearl going the other way? And it waited there like 15 minutes for people to fill it up. We need to get that straightened out before this weekend. Also, I've addressed the board before about no smoking signs at DART stations and at bus terminals and train stations, and I still have not seen those eye-level big signs. All I see is a very small cigarette with a circle around it way up high where people can't see it, and I'm continuing to be inundated with people from every angle. It almost got in a fight at the VA station Saturday with people from both angles, 6 people on one side and 3 on the other, polluting the air where I couldn't breathe. I was in the middle, and people start walking toward me and asking me as politely as I can not to walk toward me with the pollution, because I can't breathe it. I have asthma and allergies and can't breathe it even if I wanted to. But I don't want to breathe the toxic, deadly poison. And they continue to walk toward me. I almost got in a fight with somebody there. Anytime I call it to their attention, as politely as I say it, I ask them not to come toward me with it. And they continue to do so. We don't have signs up that say no smoking, where people can read it at eye level, and we need to have that changed. Immediately we need to have that changed. And 2 years ago, I was told we're putting signs up at eye level, big enough people can see them, and so far nothing's happening.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Yarborough.
Greetings. My name is William Sanders Jr. I reside at 3016 Beaudry Avenue, Dallas, Texas, 75216. My telephone number is 214-374-0496. I repeat, 214-374-0496. The reason, Mr. Chairman, that I repeated my telephone number is because on July 8th, I was here, and I had a serious problem to me, and I was asked for my telephone number. I gave it, and on August 12th, I was here again. I asked for my telephone number. I gave it, and to this day, I haven't had a call since I gave my number. So I began thinking, well, maybe someone called these individuals and told them that my phone was turned off, that I didn't have a phone anymore, so they didn't worry about trying to call me. Now, Mr. Chairman, you may gavel me down before I'm finished, but if you do, I will respectfully take my seat. Now, I've been asked by one of the high-ranking people at DART, why am I still fooling around here at DART? Well, I'll tell you why I'm still fooling around here. Because when those people hurt, I hurt. Because I've been where they are. And so I still have feelings in my heart for those people. Now they say you're retired, you need to go on somewhere and sit down. Well, that's the way you think about it. That's not the way it is. Let me share this with you. First thing I do every morning when I wake up, I says, thank you, Jesus. The next thing I do is look in my mirror, which I can sit up in my bed and see. And I tell that fella in the mirror to treat his fellow man like he wants to be treated this day. All right, bring it on home now. DART, we need, and I say we, I haven't always walked in the path of righteousness. I fall out the path of righteousness myself, yes, but I try to find my way back. But remember, there is a Creator who is the judge of all, regardless. Now we need to get a hold of ourselves. We hear these people crying. We know what the problem is. Put yourself in their position. Mr. Executive Director, please, sir, notify those down the line what they need to do. They are putting these harsh rules on these people. Tell them to try it. See what happens. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Our next speaker is Sherilyn Samuels.
Good evening. My name is Sherilyn Samuel. I reside at 2225 Swansea Drive, Dallas, Texas. I am an operator out of South Oak Cliff, Executive Board Officer for Amalgamated Transit Union. The medical insurance premium and stuff going up. And they say it's our fault because we use it. But the real fault lies with your management team. Because I'm a diabetic. I might wake up in the morning and my blood sugar too high for me to be behind the wheel. 3 a.m. in the morning. I call in if I can't go to the doctor in 2 hours. Guess what happens? I get charged. So to keep from getting charged and eventually getting fired, where do I go? To the emergency room. That's where the problem is. Some things can easily be fixed if we just listen to people that have a concern for everybody and not just concern for themselves to get brownie points to keep their little jobs. The drive cam. You know what? I'm supposed to be fired. Most especially since May. Even now, since I run my mouth too much down here, you know how many times my drive cam come on? 10 plus every night. So if I'm that bad of a driver, why haven't they terminated me? Ain't this what the drive cams are for? To make sure that I'm a safe driver? That's not true. It's there to watch me. You always told the camera don't watch us. The camera sits here. Watch me. And they say it only come on when it triggers. No, it don't. It runs 24/7 as long as that bus is running. And they pick what they want. Okay? Sit down and talk with me. I tell y'all everything. But they'll never put me on a committee to come and talk to you. I was invited to come sit with Gary twice. They refused to take me off the bus. But like I said, if the drive cam was put in place for what they say it was put in place, they watching me. Because I use the policy to get them, to show them that it's not fair to use that drive cam to pick at certain ones.
Our next speaker is Mr. DeBose Christian.
Good evening. I want to talk to you about an issue that seems to be a very important issue. If I talk about 206, 278s, and other suburban routes, we have to speed to get from point A to point B, from Glen Heights to downtown. You know the circumstances of the traffic each and every morning between 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. So we do what we do because you can't do it. Our objective is to get our passengers from point A to point B to where they can get here downtown at Dart and other employment. Now, you implement a smart drive. This is, it will prosecute us for doing our job. See, we can drive the speed limit, and yet we would get complaints each and every day. We get write-ups each and every day because it's another smart drive, because we do what you can't do, but we don't complain. Now, we go to Dart and we give suggestions on how we can make these routes a whole lot better. But management don't listen to us. So what do? You also came in and implemented this health care. And you brought it in to where it affects each and every person that is presently employed here at Dart. Now, I hear you talk about the money that we make, the jobs that we do, the vehicles that we drive, the houses that we live. We choose to do what you can't do. We're asking, take care of us like we take care of you. You implemented 5-star to the public. Last time I checked, you can train us, but you can't train the public. So this is what you do. You cater to the 5-star to the public, cater 5-star to the employees. Give them what they give you. See, you knock us down, and first we look up, and then we stand up, and we never give up on what we stand for, and that you do what's right because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Christian.
Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is B. Wade. And following Mr. Wade is Mr. Derek Drennan.
Good morning. My name is Bernard Wade, 8703 Barclay Street, Dallas, Texas, 75227. Bus operator of 17 years for DART. I came in here when bus operators were making $15.06. I was a part-time operator making $8.62 an hour with a family of 4 trying to make ends meet on $400 every 2 weeks. Right now, that was in '97. It's 2014. As Mr. Brown said, I can't breathe. You tell me if I want to put my wife on my benefits, you give me 1 week notice that everything that I'm supposed to do in order to carry my wife. As an operator who comes to work every morning, try to do a professional job every morning, cater to his passengers as a professional every morning, driving the highways unsafely, that we meet standards of driving coaches that cuts off on us in the middle of a turn. We have 3,900 series of buses. I can give you bus numbers that have been documented. Buses are cutting off as we are driving, and yet and still we having to deal with the elements of passengers cussing us out, being spit on. When is the company gonna treat us like we need to be treated? I took off today, and I took off because this year was important to me. Here it is that after 17 years, I still feel like I'm still stuck in 1997 because the board still does not want to treat us as human beings. How long will you continue to make DART look good off the back of your employees and treat us like dogs? I can't breathe.
Thank you for coming. I'll tell you something. Mr. Derek Drennan is our next speaker.
Evening.
Good evening.
To everyone. Make it short and simple and quick. We're here at DART for as our retirement, the bonds that the company used. Why our retirement packages don't have anything out of it to where the employees could use the bonds or buy into the bonds for the company. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Albert Durla, followed by Ms. Carla Lindesay.
Good evening, Gary, Robert, rest of the dartboard, my ATU brothers and sisters behind me. I'm here today to speak on the health care, specifically not allowing us to insure the spouse. DART has not given enough advance notice to the employees to make these adjustments. But you can find money in the budget to give the NV when they need more money, but you can't find money in the budget to offer a better health insurance to your employees, such as insuring their spouse. On the working conditions, some of my brothers and sisters already jumped on it. The morale is low in the workplace because management finds every little thing to write up an hourly employee, such as the cameras on the buses. I shouldn't have to go into detail because my brothers and sisters already mentioned it to you. But I do want to say one thing. Always remember, if you want 5-star service, that deserves 5-star wages and 5-star benefits. Thank you.
Ms. Lindsay? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Carla Lindsay, and every time that I come here, and I've been here many times, I always talk about employee satisfaction, which leads to what is important to me, and that's customer satisfaction. And I always tell everyone that they go hand in hand. And so people must not be tired of me talking about it because I still don't see it in riding DART, using the transportation system. Satisfied employees or motivated employees, they have the motivational resources to deliver adequate effort and care. Satisfied employees have high energy and the willingness to give good service. At a very minimum, they can deliver a more positive perception of the service and the product provided. Satisfied employees can provide customers with interpersonal sensibility and social account. Because satisfied employees experience interactional justice, they can deliver it. So I'm here to plead with you because I've listened to these people, I've listened to these employees, and I've listened to them talk about what's important to them. And they're not talking about just them, they're talking about their families. So this could be one of your daughters, this could be your son, your daughter, your mother, or your father. And when I say your, I'm not speaking directly to anybody, I'm just making a point that what they feel is important because it affects the customers. DART is a customer-oriented service. And so until you listen to them, you will not satisfy the employees. And one last thing, surveys that are being done, I really request that they be done properly, because if they really ask the right questions, you would really get the truth about customer satisfaction. Because what's being asked is questions like, is the air cold enough when you get on the bus? But if you ask the employee on a scale of 1 to 5, does DART organization, corporate, really care about the employees or the customers? Ask us that on a scale of 1 to 5 and see what the customer satisfaction will come out to be. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Thomas Whitehead.
Good evening. I'm here tonight because I was looking at the young lady when she got her award. She seemed like that was really one of those Kodak moments. I received an award like that one time. As a matter of fact, Mr. Thomas, you gave me that award. And it was back around 2001, 2002, where I had some kids that were abandoned on my bus. And anyway, I know, that made DART look really good, because I had to stay there with those kids. I had to, until somebody came and got them, So, like I say, I was given an award for it, a little check. And, I'm a parent also. As a matter of fact, I have 8 daughters and 2 sons. I have 14 grandsons and 19 granddaughters. I also got 5 great-grandkids. And they look at me as the go-to guy. See, I'm not like Mr. Sanders. I see him all the time. That means that man, he don't stop. He's constantly moving. Okay, well, I was discharged last week. I couldn't breathe because I didn't know what the outcome of my situation was going to turn out to be. But thanks to the VP, he saw a reason to change the status, and I was able to retire. Well, I wasn't ready to retire, see, because about half of those numbers that I just gave you, they still look to me when they want something or when they need something. And not only that, I'm kind of like in a situation where, am I going to get another opportunity? It's hard to find a job, especially when you leave a good job and good paying job, I'll put it like that, to go and find another one that's equivalent. So my question is, if by chance, I can't stop working, see, I have to continue on, see. And I probably have to work until the day that the man upstairs say, come on home, it's time to go, So, I just hope that if by chance that I should happen to come this way again, that DART take that in consideration. I had 17 years plus on this job also. And I think it was unfair that wasn't even taken in consideration. But considering that what took place, well, I had no control over that. I'm a diabetic also. So I have issues just like everybody else do that has diabetes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Whitehead. Our next speaker is Mr. Kenneth Day.
Good evening. I know it's been a long day. I would like to first say I thank you board members, Mr. Thomas, that respect us enough to at least stay around and listen. We've noticed any board meeting we have, there's at least one board member that gets up and walk out. In fact, it happens to be the board member. The first time I heard the question asked, why do we pay medical premium on employee spouses? That is the person that does not have a respect to even stay around to listen to us, employees' concerns. Someone should deal with that. I want to say to you, as you look across my shoulder, beyond me, you're looking at the employees that provide a service to you. You're looking at employees that has a concern. Recently, whether it was intentionally or not. It happened. You brought about a hardship to employees' household, and you did it on a short notice. And you went out to spread the news when folks didn't even know what they were talking about. You have excluded spouses on employees' health care. That is a burden. That is a hardship on these employees' household. You got employees that made big purchases, not knowing after 27, 30 years, you were going to kick their spouses off the insurance. Now they have to go out and pick up another premium at a cost of $300 or $400. That's a reality, board. Mr. Thomas, that's a reality. You do not have to treat employees that way. Someone mentioned earlier, I've heard somebody say the budget has already been set. Well, I stand here today to tell you the budget was set when you gave MV more money. You robbed the employees to pay the rich. MV came here with an agenda. We told you, we stood here and we said what they would do. But nevertheless, they're the rich, they're the millionaires, but they stood before you and said, we need an equitable adjustment. And guess what? Board, understanding everybody didn't vote for it, but those of you voted, you gave it to them. We stand here today and say, treat us with disrespect. Give us the same respect. We would like to have an equitable adjustment, and we'd like to revisit this health care. Thank you very much.
Let's check. Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Key.
How y'all doing tonight? I know y'all talking at my pretty face, but anyway, I'm here today to talk about the cameras and the insurance. As far as the insurance, I really can't afford it. I have 8 kids, 14 grandkids. I can't, like I told y'all before, I came to work here, I was making $7.20 an hour, cleaning buses. Started from the ground up. I'm poor, I've been poor all my life. Like most of them, I don't have a fancy house. You know, only thing I got is a car. Barely can afford that. But anyway, make a long story short, this is supposed to be 2014, not 1967. We know when my father was up marching for equal rights and justice and everything like that in Alabama. It reminds me when I was 6 years old, when he used to get up in the morning time and go out on the picket line and march. You know, that's what we're doing there. Like I said, mine is simple. The insurance, I can't afford it. The smart cameras, I feel like a slave on that thing. You know, you got people here, I like to never drove a bus before. You got managers here, they say they drove a bus, but I can't tell. Because they think they know more than you do out here on these roads, you know. Things are bad, traffic is heavy. I do the 161 every morning. I get cursed out every day. I'm late every day. I'm driving the speed limit. I got people giving the thumb because I'm driving so slow. Flow with the traffic. Policeman down told me, he said, you need to flow with the traffic. I said, sir, the camera's on this bus. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm always getting targeted. I'm called back there every day, seems like, for some type of write-up. It's ridiculous. Like I said, it's supposed to be 2014, not 1967. back in the Eyes of the Prize days when it was bad. It's just a recreation all over again. So thank you for your time. I wish y'all could do something about it. Talk to some of these supervisors you got, some of these managers you got here. Make them realize that, hey, we trying to do a job. I thought they'd been there before, but I can't tell. They put on a suit. Like my dad always told me, they put on a nice suit and a tie, they think they're better than you are. So that's what I feel.
We have no more registered speakers. Is there anybody else wishes to speak? Okay. Yes, and we're going to cut it off with that. I can't see, someone's in front of you. Lady, right after this lady. Would you tell us your name, please? And
My name is Renita Hill. I live at 44.
Well, we're going to come and ask you for your address. We don't put that on the record anymore.
Excuse me?
One of these, Nancy, or would you ask her?
Just my name?
Just your name, afterwards we get your address.
I didn't hear you.
Just state your name.
Okay.
And afterward, get your address.
My name is Renita Hill. I'm an East Dallas bus operator. I've been at DART for 15 years. And at the time that I've been here, I've been pretty much okay. But here lately, I've developed sleep apnea. I just come back to work today. And while I was off, I was denied by Cigna because I have sleep apnea because they said it wasn't efficient enough time. I have not been paid in over 2.5 months. And my husband, he worked for DART for 25 years, and I've been paying my bills off of his salary. And I don't think it's fair that Cigna is denying people that have sleep apnea. And something needs to be done about it, because we have bills and they do need to be paid.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll check on that. Have you reported that?
Well, after they send the paperwork to DART after they deny you.
Okay.
So something needs to be done.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
These are a tough act to follow, I have to say, and what I have to bring to you is small by comparison. My name is Michelle Bai,
Hello, Ms. Bai.
and do you need my address, or can I just give it to you on the card?
Well, you just put it on the card.
All right, that sounds good. I am a rail operator for 2.5 years now. I'm a rail instructor. I'm a customer experience officer, and I'm now a shop steward. And I want you to know that I love my employer. I look forward to all the improvements and the better communication and interaction that we're all working for. But one issue in particular that I hear coming up again to you several times today is relating to the schedules on the bus side. Now, again, I'm a rail operator, but my husband is also a bus operator, and he's a bus instructor. And it's exceedingly obvious that their scheduling on the bus side does not accommodate any of the rush hour traffic. So operators are put under exceptional stress and a lot of pressure by their passengers on board that they have to face every day when they're screeching in sideways to make connections to the train, for example. And they're rushing in rush hour because their schedules don't accommodate it. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, where there's very little traffic, to get from A to B might take 10 minutes, but it's also only 10 minutes given to them from A to B during the high peak hour of rush traffic. Regularly, schedules are 20 minutes late, 15 minutes late. It's unfair to passengers, but on behalf of our operators, they're under tremendous stress to try and deliver passengers to make these connections that they have to face tomorrow. And I'm sorry I didn't make that connection for you yesterday. I'll do better today. I'll try and get you to that connection today. But the schedulers do not accommodate for the rush hour traffic on the bus side. Now, on the rail side, we don't have that problem because the buses wait for us. And we're on schedule. We have only 2 minutes that we can be late from the beginning of the run to the end of the run. Bus operators only have 10 minutes from the beginning of their run to the end of their run. But again, they only have 20 minutes maybe extra additional time. No, they don't get that time for rush hour traffic. And they're under a lot of pressure. They're angry because the cameras are coming on them all the time. They're already stressed out in rush hour, trying to get it, well, look, hurry, a little faster, stop a little harder, stop a little quicker, quick, quick, quick. Passengers see that they're stressed and they're really trying to make a connection for them. But when they miss that connection and the train has to pull off because we're on time, we only get 2 minutes from one end to the other, the bus operator failed. Now then, did they fail? Or did the schedulers fail the bus operators? And I would ask that you consider that when you look at these schedules that don't accommodate the rush hour traffic. And that's all I had to bring to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are no further speakers. Hold on. And we have no further business. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming this evening.
This is William Dockery at Two Hats Publishing. We're down here at Ackerd and Pacific. We're taking pictures of our striking, well, they're not striking, protesting members. And over here, we're in the background, if you can hear it, is the Thanksgiving Tower striking out the hour of noon. Let's see if we can get some interviews here. The last time I had is that they only have one spokesman or
is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way Dart is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.